What's up, Call of Duty fans? I'm IHOLDSHIFT, you're you, and this is the first ever Eyes On series where we're going to be taking a look at a very analytical breakdown of one map in specific from a very close set. This one in particular was between Splyce and eUnited. Seaside was the map. 248 to 250 was the final score, and there was a lot of back and forth, a lot of mini comebacks, and one very big comeback near the very tail end of this set. So I don't want to talk for too long. I want to let you guys get down into this. Hope you enjoy. Bring out those pens and papers. Maybe you can find some notes as far as how you can maybe better yourself when it comes to league play and being aware of situations. But I hope you enjoy. We'll catch you at the end of the video. All right, let's go ahead and just dig through this intro really quickly. eUnited off the rip here is going to come out. We'll speed this one up a little bit because they end up just winning things out. But I like this play a lot from Abizi. He's able to move up and through this staircase, which opens up this entire middle and allows all the Maddoxes of eUnited just to get very, very aggressive, and they end up getting the full team wipe, only having lost one. Now, let's pause it here for a second and take a look at what happens next, because the objective when you play the hard point is you want to try to set yourself up for success to string together hard points. That means that for the second hard point in the courtyard area, you want to get these spawns that Splyce is currently getting. So to win those spawns out, you need to try to flip Splyce, which means you need to win one more team fight completely. Abizi is going to make a really smart play here and move right on forward to the staircase in front of him. And Pristini was the player that ended up dying in that last engagement. It was a 5-for-1 trade. And you can see Pristini on the minimap will just be watching the backside, allowing all of the United to focus the front, win out one more team fight, and then flip the spawns, which is exactly what you want to see. So we'll take a look here as, again, you see this going forward. Abizi's going to push on forward. He's got some support just behind him. He's able to find the beatdown on one. He's able to find the SOG for two more. You'll love to see it. And is able to freely get on back, although he does get a little bit pinched up, but Clayster's there for the cleanup. So again, you can see Splyce is starting to spawn out. eUnited is starting to spawn in the church. That's exactly what you want. All it comes down to now is trying to get as much time as humanly possible. So as we pause it once more again, we'll set up this next potential fight and how we transition to the second point. And for that second point, again, with eUnited spawning in the back, Splyce is actually trying to shake them off of the early time for this next courtyard. But the big thing here is accuracy following up with the contest of the first point. His whole goal is just to play his life, find contest time for as long as possible. And with the information that there is still action coming here, Clayster's actually going to come and help out for the scrap, while the rest of Splyce will hit the front. Accuracy is going to end up winning out a couple of these trades, which actually is going to force EU to spawn towards the fountain because of the pressure that Splyce is bringing. So again, this is Splyce trying to do whatever they possibly can to get themselves in a spot to not only make sure eUnited is not comfortably behind them, but it will actually allow them to open up for the hard point first with the hit on front, as well as the spawns after this goes through. So as we get back into it, you can see Abizi is playing out. Accuracy on point will find one. Here comes actually, pardon me, that was Pristini that's going to come to try to fight, and they play his life. Pristini also goes down. That's the last thing you want. So now it's up to Splyce. They want to try to win these spawns. There's still a couple of seconds left, and you can see JCap's in the back trying to do what he can to try to find the back spawns, but it's not going to happen whatsoever. Aqua's able to clean things up, and although it was a solid start for eUnited, Splyce is able to win back the spawns off that push and accuracy playing his life, and then it just comes down to winning the point out. Looney will help with that, and this is Splyce now in control of the point. Now to follow up with this point, now Splyce has control. They dealt with the first hit from eUnited, but eUnited is actually going to set up a pretty smart little flank here. As you see, RCDs and Pristini will be coming from the backhand side, but Temp is in a great spot to read this and make sure he can hold on to spawns for the rest of his team. The rest of Splyce will have to be dealing with the eUnited respawn, which will be coming from the middle portion of the map. They're going to try to hit from the front, and the problem here is eUnited was not able to fully pinch this completely. This is kind of a staggered hit with two hitting the spawns, and then the rest of the three will be hitting the front. This isn't going to go super well for them because Splyce will not only hold on to the spawns, but then as soon as they're able to win this flank fight, immediate attention is given to the front, and a clutch play from Accuracy and Aqua will allow them to get this clutch time. So as you see it, Temp is in a really good spot. We'll see one. He's not able to win out the fight, but he gets the information. Aqua will win out one, play his life for as long as possible. Temp comes off the respawn. He wins a second, and now it just comes down to hitting the front, making sure that you can hold on. Here's Accuracy taking control. He'll find himself two, and Jerd will help out with the third. So that's exactly what you want to see from Splyce when it comes to defending the spawns and then recommitting and defending the hard point itself. eUnited needed to do what they potentially could to try to hit that in a split fashion, not coming forward the other way. So let's take a look at this next point. So as we pause it here and look forward, it's going to be Looney who spawns up latest. He's going to be the one that's going to be sitting on the point for as long as possible. Splyce is going to move up the left-hand side of the map respectively for them because eUnited has gotten the spawns towards Fountain, so they just give away this last 26 seconds, set up a defense, try to get a solid Fountain hardpoint to go. But the problem here is nobody fully holds the back area. This spawn point in the very back where this concert hall, this little statue is, that's exactly where you want to be spawning to control full time. But the problem is you'll see RCD spawning from the market side will flank all the way around the back side of it, but not quite be close enough to find the actual lockdown on the spawns, as trades will happen over the middle. As we start this one back up, you'll see exactly that. Here comes Splyce moving through barrels. They're going to try to hit the left-hand side, like I said. Beasley's going to play pretty well. He's got a cluster grenade up, and he's going to be able to hold down the front pretty well. But the fact of the matter is, Splyce is going to be finding some pretty decent trades. And the bigger problem is the fact that eUnited is not going to actually be in a spot to actually set themselves up to spawn. As you see, there's a couple of kills right here. Look where the spawns are. There's Market. And as we pause again, look what this most recent spawn is. This is the last thing you didn't want. RCD's, you can see where he's holding. He's not all the way in the back, and the pressure that was put on the point by Splyce was enough to force the respawns out of the zone. So JCap has actually spawned all the way on the opposite side of the map. And you can see where Temp is right now. He's sitting right in front of this fountain. He's going to push through and get a kill, and the spawns will also start to come closer for Splyce while EU is spawning the complete opposite side. Here's the biggest downside, though. You're going to see this happen in the kill feed. EU thinks that they have spawn control. So JCap and Abizi off their spawns are going to jump off the map, and it's not going to actually go successfully. We'll restart back into this one. Here comes Temp. He's able to find one. It just comes down to finding Pristini in the back. He's going to push on forward. He's got enough support. You can see Pristini is not going to be able to do anything from the side stairs. RCDs does find one. There's JCap and Abizi. They jump off the map, but Splyce is the team that gets the spawn. So now all of a sudden, Splyce are in a potential opportunity to put themselves in 2 straight points, and EU has to flood from the front. And Splyce is going to do a really good job of holding on to this for as long as possible. And as we see this one kind of trade away. However, as we pause it here once again, somehow eUnited put enough pressure on the point to actually get close spawns. So RCDs and Pristini are going to spawn from behind. You can see on the map, it's actually going to be Aqua spawning out by Market. And with this research coming back through off the respawn, even though it was kind of a delayed start, eUnited will break and they will regain control pretty quickly. Jerd cannot do enough to stay alive throughout all of this as we restart it back in. Temp and accuracy are here, but again, the spawns are too good for eUnited, so they'll be able to come back into this one. You see as we pause one more time, Temp is going to try to play for spawns with 22 seconds left, while Abizi is moving for the new rotation to new. But the problem is EU is going to spawn back here anyways and will catch Temp off guard. He will eventually fall. He's only got 13 bullets anyways as we restart back in. He doesn't catch them from his right. And eUnited, they'll break the spawns, break the point, and they've gotten themselves set up for next point. So as we pause here again, take a look at the map. You can already see it's Abizi and RCDs moving into the new hill and barrels. Aqua and Looney are there, but eUnited only has one choice as far as how they're going to rotate to get into this hill, and that's from that orange side of the map, on that far south side as you look at the mini-map. So they're going to be rotating all the way through, and this is an absolutely brilliant pitch maneuver from Splyce. They're going to send their 2 players of Jordan Accuracy, who came off the market spawn, to try to hit a double hit over the middle and from behind. So this barrels play, as well as the respawn gameplay, is going to be really smooth for Splyce. Let's go ahead and dig in to see how this one pans out. You'll see them moving in. One more will actually spawn. That's Temp. And Aqua and Accuracy will find 2. And the rotation over the middle is great. The pinch is absolutely brilliant. And what should have been a very good setup for eUnited, because of the early rotation, they don't watch the middle properly. And it's going to be Splyce with the early control of the hard point, and they can get themselves set up. Even though Pristini does get 2 kills, it doesn't make a difference. The rest of Splyce will be spawning in the back, and they'll find themselves some good time in the barrels. Now, this next part coming up is all about this really long flank from Abizi. That's what they're trying to set up eUnited, as Abizi has spawned all the way to the market. He's going to come all the way around the back side of the church and try to hit for a small little pinch with his SOG. The biggest thing as we get going into this video is the fact that eUnited just wins the face-up gunfights. But the idea is to try to find split spawns so you can continue to pinch the barrels as much as possible. You don't always want to just hit this one from the front or flood in from one side. You can see Splyce starts to spawn all the way out by the fountain. eUnited will win the point, and it's going to come down to Splyce. They don't really have the time to set up a full flank based on their spawns, so they're going to hit from the front and all of the SOG presence from eUnited will win the day. Arcitys and Pristini will play absolutely magnificently here to win out all of these close fight gunfights, and eUnited will put themselves right back in this game as they clean up the contest time pretty quickly. Abizi with 2, Pristini with 2, and that'll be enough. And as we get to this next pause, this is where things get really interesting. Now, as we get close to the second rotation, just 17 seconds left on this point, Clayster is only 155 off of his score streaks, and you can already see as you take a look at the top what you have as far as specialists usage as well. Clayster obviously is going to have his Tempest here. Abizi will be very close to a War Machine, and nothing is available for Splyce with the exception of Aqua, who's very close to his Tempest, and this is really smart passive play from eUnited. They're going to back all the way up to the church and just hit this as if the game had just been restarted with eUnited on the right-hand side of the map and Splyce on the left, which is the opposite of how we started. Arcitys is going to play the early rotate and does get picked off, but he does get the information that there's going to be plays over the middle. So here, let's just get this one going in real time as we start this one back up. Here's Arcitys. He's coming on forward. He gets the information that he saw at least 3 players here, and everybody else who comes on in is going to be really, really passive. Abizi needs to be taking his time. Clayster, he'll pull out the Tempest, and it comes down to can you hit one player or try to get this streak going. Aqua will find 2, which will slow eUnited down considerably, but this is a huge play from Clay. You would have loved to have seen Abizi and Arcitys not die, but here's the chain, able to find 1 kill, looks for the second, not quite able to hit it, does get the lightning, turns around for the third. That's exactly what you want to see. We'll try to find one more. The Hellstorm is here. eUnited is coming off the respawns. There is Aqua trying to take down the Tempest of his own, and when things get into that hot contest off the respawn, here comes the War Machine from Abizi. As soon as you see him pull out, he's going to start to clean things up. As soon as Splyce tries to recontest, all of this is up the middle. There's Abizi with 2, make that 3, and he's able to get himself control for eUnited. Now this next part's a little bit long-winded. There's not much really to draw on. eUnited will be spawning at Church, Splyce will be spawning by Fountain, and as you see it, this is kind of a repeat from the first rotation. Arcitys and Clayster will once again be responsible for holding on the point in case there's any more pushes left with just 27 seconds left. With Splyce spawning Fountain though, they're going to rotate immediately over to New, and the last player that's left is Looney, who's going to be playing out his life. But the problem is Clayster and Arcitys pick off Looney, and then Clayster, this is the smart move. He immediately rotates back to where the new point will be, so that way he can play off of the spawns, while the EU SMGs are going to play their lives out around the front side of barrels to try to hold off the flood for as long as possible. Splyce will only be hitting from the barrel side of the map. They do sneak temp in around Church, but instead of going in the back for spawns like they had done previously, he actually comes from the side door to try to sweep things up, and it's a very sloppy fight. The big thing as we restart here and get back into this in real time is that there is War Machine available from temp. So he's going to come off of his second respawn and use this, and EU's not going to be caught with any kind of flak in hand. So with Clayster there picking up Looney, here's the SMG gameplay in the barrels. Pristini doing a good job of playing out his life for as long as possible. Abizi will follow up, even a cluster nade for good measure, and now all of the respawns, again, continuing for Splyce from the side of the Fountain. Temp, again, will sneak through here. He finds himself one, and he says, all right, let's go ahead and pull out the War Machine. He's able to find at least 2. I think he finds a third as well, but Splyce is just doing this from brute force. Temp, here's the big thing, is that he's going to actually end up earning himself streaks off of this next hit that he has. 250 off at the moment. He just needs to find 1 or 2 more kills, and he'll be in a good spot. Pristini does have a grab slam, and you can tell he's trying to play for it a little bit, but Temp will find the kill. And even still, eUnited still spawning in the back, but as you see, the Lightning Strike and the Hellstorm for Temp, it's going to come down to how do you play from here. You don't want to flip the spawns at this point. You want to just try to keep the delay as long as possible. You can see Jerd already going for New, and the Hellstorm will find 1. And at this point, you've got eUnited still spawning by Market as well as in the back of the map. Jerd is already rotated all the way up to hold for this next point, and that's going to be absolutely huge as far as not only finishing off this point, but setting up the next. But again, take a look. All that Hellstorm play that came out of Splyce allowed Jerd to get on the backstairs by himself. And this is the big mistake, is that Clayster's got a Hellstorm, and he wants to use this to try to clear off the point so that way him and Pristini can move together to break the spawns. But Pristini goes too early and ends up dying. So the Hellstorm is essentially only used, which will kill Jerd, but there's nobody hit the back spawns with. eUnited is still spawning pretty far out, so you'll see this as it closes. We'll get into this one here. Jerd is going to find this first kill pretty quickly, as here comes Pristini by himself. Clayster behind. Maybe they don't expect Jerd to be here, but he finds that first kill. Here's the Hellstorm from Clayster. Doesn't find any off the spread, but will take down Jerd as he tries to grapple away. But again, look, Clayster's got nowhere to go. He's got nobody with him. So here's this moment. Clayster's awkwardly by himself as Accuracy and Aqua clean up things from the front. The good news here is that eUnited will actually spawn by the market, and all of Splyce will start spawning out by Old Hill. You can see Jerd in the minimap will be spawning all the way in the back, which will allow Pristini to actually make a couple of plays and find that redemption run. But as we get into this one pretty quickly, you'll see eUnited from the market will try to come all the way up to win the spawns. But with these kills from Accuracy and Aqua, it comes down to an initial foot race to who gets in the back. And Clayster will realize that as soon as he starts to take shots here at Aqua, not quite able to find the full win, but he sees Aqua go over to the left, so he says, maybe I can win out these spawns. He gets here, but it's actually Splyce getting there, and Splyce will win it. But now, off the respawn, Clayster's going to be hitting the lightning strike, and he's going to be able to clear out the back. The rest of eUnited is waiting. Meanwhile, Pristini comes through orange, will find himself too, and that's essentially a full team wipe. It just comes down to this last play here from Accuracy by himself. He has to try to make life as hard as possible for eUnited while Splyce is spawning barrels, and after Accuracy dies, Temp is going to call in his lightning storm, and that will actually force EU to also spawn out, which will make things really interesting on the re-engage for both. Accuracy finds one, JCap is able to clean him up. Clayster is doing what he can to try to clean up barrels, but he's not able to do enough by himself. And then here, the lightning strike from Temp, he's able to clean up everything in the front, clean up the point itself. eUnited has not spawned in, they spawn all the way out to market, so Splyce will be able to just win out these team fights. Now this next setup is actually really huge for both teams. So Splyce has won this point, it's just Clayster in the back, and EU's gonna spawn over by the market, and they make the right call mostly as they try to rotate to the barrels from the courtyard side. You can see the two players doing that are JCap and Abizi. But the problem is, Arcides actually goes the opposite direction to hit Old, considering that Clayster is still fighting for the last 22 seconds. And since Clayster has actually pushed back into this concert area, it's actually going to force Aqua and Accuracy to spawn in the very backhand side of the map, which will catch this little mini flank from EU off guard. The rest of Splyce will spawn market after this hit comes through, and then we'll hit the mid-rotate once again properly, and they will win this control. So take a look. Clayster here on this barrel. He's put himself in a spot to win out two fights, but again, eUnited is going to keep spawning all the way back here because of this scrap time, and the rest of Splyce with Accuracy and Aqua will clean up the flank, and then the rest of the spawns coming from the market will come over the middle portion of the map properly to help out Jerd and Looney. They'll win out eUnited, who did spawn at the old point, and Splyce have set themselves up for a really good spot here to once again open things up on this hill. JCap tries to get to the hill to find streaks, but will be shut down. Aqua finds a bunch, and that's going to be enough for Splyce to set themselves up to increase on their lead pretty nicely. But now, just as quickly as Splyce makes a good play, they actually make a pretty bad play here. EU will actually spawn completely together in the back by that courtyard, by the tank kind of area, and Clayster, who's still alive, will just be playing his life, trying to set up some sort of a mini pinch, and maybe even let Splyce think that the spawn actually came from the fountain side, which seems to be the case, because Splyce is going to try to flank all the way through the church to get into the point safely, but they get caught in this side door. The information from Arcides and Abizi is good, and that's going to make life extremely easy for eUnited as we get into it. Here comes this play. Looney takes a couple of shots. They're going to turn around for this. eUnited will play very slowly. All of these players coming through the side door will be completely double killed by JCap. So again, eUnited with good numbers, but Aqua and Accuracy are still here, and this is another really clutch moment for Splyce, as again, the last two players in Hill, these two absolutely know that they're the last case scenario for Splyce to contest, so their whole goal here is to play their lives for as long as possible. They're getting the information that Splyce is going to be spawning from the courtyard side of the map, so you play your life as long as possible, wait for the respawn to come in from the back of the map, and try to get his team in off the respawn. Aqua makes an incredible play, even though he pulls out the Tempest and only finds one. Again, it's enough time for Jerd to come in and start to clean on up. We'll see exactly how this plays. eUnited is spawning by market. Accuracy will get taken down, but Aqua is able to clean up so many, and again, this is a 1-on-3 scenario for Aqua, and he's able to take down a number of players. You can see Splyce is coming in from the back. The rest of his team is starting to get here, and Jerd will help clean things up, and Splyce actually breaks this, again, off of the good saw gameplay that we've seen time and time again from Temp and Jerd. That's a huge win for Splyce, increasing the lead even further. So now there's 19 seconds left, and Splyce has put themselves in a pretty decent spot with a nice significant lead. And I love this play because they're going to take a little cheeky play, sending Temp all the way through orange, as eUnited is actually spawning a little bit staggered here towards the backside of Fountain. And this is going to be great because the rest of Splyce, you can already see them moving through the church side. They're going to be hitting from the back, or I guess the courtyard side of this market, while you'll see Temp move all the way through and distract EU from the blue stairs. And this is brilliant because Temp is able to clean up too and save time to allow his team to come back, win the point, and actually help him out near the back end. So here comes Jerd over the middle. You'll see again Temp moving on the top hand spot. There are 3 players here. Temp will find 1, and eUnited will know that there are more here. But look at all this time. Temp finds himself 2 kills, and he now just comes down to this last 1v1 between him and JCap. The rest of Splyce win the back. He plays his life out nicely. They're able to find the full team wipe on the back end, and this is a great start for Splyce on this 3rd rotation. Now the point just opened up, so Splyce, you just have to be thinking, just read out where the spawns come from. With Temp playing so far back, you figure that eUnited has to be playing from the front, and now Looney is in a really good spot to potentially hit the flank, but unfortunately, Looney, who is playing the scrap time on barrels, is going to get figured out, and he will be taken down, allowing EU to have numbers. They're going to break this initial hold as we get going into it, and then the second hit that comes immediately afterwards will also be held from eUnited, which is huge, because again, this is the point where Splyce was looking just to win things out, and you wonder if Jerd uses that grab slam. Do you possibly win the game here if you're Splyce? Accuracy will do what he can to play his life out, but he's not able to do anything. Splyce spawns by church. They're going to flood right on in. eUnited are going to hold, and this is, again, just a huge mistake. You wonder if you get that grab slam off for 2, do you hold this point and put yourself at 230 or 230 plus? It's not going to happen here, as a good concussion comes through. The rest of eUnited will frag out, and Splyce, all of their hopes of winning the game here will be thwarted, and eUnited, as we pause again, will be right back in this game. Now, just when you think matters are starting to get bad for Splyce, this is a brilliant play, as you'll see the rest of Splyce that are off the kills will respawn by Fountain. And with that information, Jerd and Looney are going to make a great play. They're in a spot right here to sit in checkers and sit in the back halls and make sure eUnited cannot rotate from the old point and break spawns for the second point. And they're going to delay so much time for Splyce to come back in with force off the respawn and actually delay eUnited from not only getting themselves set up, but it's actually also going to force eUnited to spawn completely out. So as we get back into this one, again, take a look. Looney and Jerd play so well into this church area. They find 1, the vision pulse is utilized. Clayster can't win a clutch gunfight, and now all of a sudden it just comes down to playing your lives for as long as possible. Look at all this delay for Looney. Even though he falls, he's able to get the stun off. Jerd's able to survive, and the rest of Splyce have gotten here to this point, forcing eUnited as they spawn by the fountain to come in staggered fashion. This is an interesting follow-up. Looney has just died in the middle of church, which will allow JCap and Pristini to essentially play for the back spawns for free. But instead of going for the spawns and flanking around and forcing Splyce to spawn completely out on this pinch attempt, they're actually going to try to hit the hill flat outright with this pinch maneuver from Clayster and Abizi coming from barrels, and then JCap and Pristini coming from the backside. But Arcides, who's playing from scrap time, is not here, and he'll also try to rotate through the middle. So these trades that you're going to see coming up as we restart are going to go in favor of eUnited, but watch the spawns. Splyce is going to continue to spawn in the back because of this, which is catastrophic. As you'll take a look, there are all these trades coming through. Arcides, instead of going into the back, will come from the side, and he does get here, but Splyce has spawned in the back, so now eUnited is in a really, really bad spot. So with Splyce spawning in, they're looking at a situation here where they need to not only break this point, but they have to push through for the next hill. If you're spawning in the back, you have to figure, okay, well, eUnited is going to be spawning closer towards the fountain, so you have to win this point, push on through, and win another team fight to at least try to force eUnited to spawn by market. But the problem here is that eUnited is spawning actually pretty close in the mid lane and will need to rotate to the hill quickly, simply due to the fact of what the score looks like and that they have map control for next. They're allowed to play pretty aggressively off this next point. The other side of things, as you take a look at this pause screen, is Arcides is very close to streaks, and you would love to have those as much as possible. But here's the big problem as we start this one up. Jerd is going to sneak through church and come back in and find himself a very clutch 3-piece off the respawn with the slam. So it comes down to eUnited hitting with force. Can they find a way to hold on for as long as possible? Pretty decent contest, as JCap is also very close to streaks, but here comes Jerd through church. He's going to sneak through the side door, hit the grab slam for 3, but the problem is that Arcides was able to find himself the streaks, and that's huge for the team because, again, you can see eUnited has spawned in the back for Fountain. So now things are looking pretty good for eUnited. They spawn back by Fountain, they have a lightning strike to play with, and Splyce, even though they're going to get this scrap time, they're not able to win off of this point. So you just set up for a successful defense for as long as possible. And with this, Splyce having to scrap time soak, they'll actually start to hit the map a little bit in a spread fashion, trying to hit the map from 3 different angles, trying to hit from the orange side, the fish market side, as well as up the middle. Set themselves up so once the scrap time soak can come through, they can start to hit this one together. At least that's the attempt. As you can see this one as they start to position themselves for this next point. You can see the player on is Temp sitting for as long as possible as he's got himself a war machine. It just comes down to, can you stay alive at the moment if you're eUnited, but more especially if you can stay alive for Splyce. So nobody from either team dies on this reset up for Splyce or for eUnited, but the problem here is that Clayster will give information that there are at least 2 players from Splyce hitting Fish Market, and with it being such clutch, you wonder how panicked that call was, because you can see there are 3 people watching over towards the market side, those blue stairs, but nobody's watching over the middle, which is exactly where Aqua is going to push on through and find himself 3 kills. Temp is also going to follow up from behind, and it's going to allow him to open things up with the war machine as we get on in. So here comes Aqua over the middle. He's able to find one. The war machine from behind will help open things up, and now all of a sudden Splyce will put themselves in position not only of the point but also of the spawns. So with the spawns, Splyce looks like they're going to take this game. All they need is 7 seconds, but the problem is Arcity still has a lightning strike, and he's going to start things off with that to open up the point. EU is going to be able to flood, and afterwards JCap is able to find a couple of kills and hit a clutch TAC 5 boost, which will allow eUnited to get this W. Take a look and listen and enjoy the final call.
What a wipe from Splyce. Now they just need 5 seconds. eUnited trying to race in. They have to use the lightning strike, and that's going to get them through. It gets 3 with the lightning, and somehow now eUnited have spawns. It's not done yet, Joey. It's not done yet. They have to break again. 18 seconds left. Looney wins 1. Bristini just trying to hold the back. TAC 5 in, potentially from Cap as he finds a couple of kills, and it's in from him. And that should be it. There's just 1 player left, and all 5 go down. Oh my God, it looks like eUnited have done it. 2:45 on the board, 5 more points needed. Arcity has checkers pushed out. Splyce making 1 final push.
That's pretty much it as far as what I got for you guys. Again, a very, very strong ending to this set. It was a 3-1 in total in favor of eUnited at the very end. I will just say this video took a lot as far as time and resources go, but I hope you guys very much so enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below how much you guys enjoyed it, or if you didn't enjoy it at all, or if it's too long-winded, or if you want to see just more isolated clips. Let me know what you think as far as how this goes. I want to be able to build this with you guys, the community. And of course, if you enjoyed, make sure you hit that subscription button, ring the bell to get notifications when these videos do pop up live. We'll catch you on later this week for some more confirmed roster mania changes, as well as an upcoming power rankings pre-CWL Fort Worth, as we take a look at some of the gameplay online, and as also kind of evaluating those roster moves that do end up happening. A pleasure again of having you guys with me on this one. Hopefully you guys enjoy. We'll catch you for the next one. Until then, hope you keep holding it down. Later. Bye-bye.